Hey guys, welcome to the channel. As you see in the thumbnail, what if Naruto x female Itachi? Before I start, please do support for more awesome content and subscribe my channel and like this video. Go support and follow the Warrenbeck for writing that awesome fanfic and also make sure to comment on this story, link in the description. As a member of the Anbu, I've always been under the impression that the Hokage's orders are absolute and that the only place one's loyalties should lie are in that of the village they serve. Even after tonight, I will still believe that. As much as what I will do tonight will hurt me, it is for the good of the village. I mean, I've already taken the plunge. Flashback. A few days ago, Hokage's office. The Sandaime Hokage was sitting in his office dealing with the bane of his existence. Paperwork. No matter what he did, the bastard pile of paper seemed to grow whenever he glanced away from it. Having been the Hokage for so long, he should have been used to the struggle, however every new piece of paper dampened his spirits. Sighing deeply, he leaned back in his chair and closed his eyes. After a few moments of peace, there was a hurried knock at the door. "You may enter," the Sandaime said as he sat back. Up, looking at the door as two Anbu members entered the room. One of these Anbu stood about 5'3". She had long flowing black hair that cascaded around her weasel mask. Her associate stood at 5'9" and had spiky black hair and was wearing a fox mask. Both of these two seemed to be nervous. "Hokage-sama," both of them said in unison, bowing. "At ease, you two. What can I do for you?" "I didn't request for any Anbu," Sarutobi said, packing his pipe. He had a feeling that something was seriously wrong in order for two normally stoic Uchiha to be this nervous. The one with the fox mask stepped forward. "Hokage-sama, we bring dire news." The fox Anbu said, removing his mask to reveal a pale face. "What news?" Sarutobi asked as he raised an eyebrow. The weasel Anbu stepped forward, removing her mask. "The Uchiha clan is planning to overthrow you, Hokage-sama," Itachi said as she shamefully looked at the ground. Shisui looked to her before doing the same. "We are the only two that are loyal to the village, Hokage-sama. While we do not have the full details of their coup, we plan to put an end to it," Shisui said, looking back up at the Hokage. "The entire Uchiha clan," Sarutobi said as he placed the room under a sound seal. He did not want anyone to hear what was going to be said. "Hi, Haki-sama. For the betterment of Konoha, Itachi and I are going to stop the coup," Shisui said, a look of nervous determination on his face. Sarutobi then looked to Itachi, who nodded in turn. Sighing deeply, he rubbed the bridge of his nose. "Shit. You both understand what you are saying, right?" Sarutobi asked as he looked them both in the eye. "Hi, Hokage-sama. We may be Uchiha, however the village must come first. The Uchiha are all guided by their arrogance and believe that staging a coup to be the best course of action for the clan. Should they fail, they risk starting a civil war which would no doubt bring many more casualties to the populace," Itachi said as she looked the Hokage in the eye. "Our sacrifice is necessary for Konoha to persevere, Hokage-sama." The Hokage nodded and looked down. "I am sorry that it has come to this, you two. After you do this, there can be no coming back to Konoha for either of you," Sarutobi said, smiling sadly. These were two excellent ninjas standing before him. The two Anbu shared a look before bowing. They had to plan accordingly. Then flashback. Itachi currently stood inside her room in the Uchiha compound. She was decked out in her Anbu gear, sans weasel mask. She had almost overflowing pouches of shuriken and kunai strapped to her belt. Anbu Isshu and Jado strapped to her back. She sighed deeply. Itachi looked around her. Her room was void of life. If anyone who didn't know it was Itachi's room entered, they would think it was a guest bedroom because it was void of any sense of belonging. Only now, the only odd items in the room was the fox mask that laid on the bed. Itachi's eyes lingered on that mask as tears began to slip down her face. "It's completely necessary," she thought as she steeled her expression before placing her own mask on her face. It was almost time to begin. Everyone in the compound should be asleep, except for the guards who patrolled the perimeter of the compound. She glanced down at her watch and killed her emotions. It was time. The Uchiha district. Itachi had been at work for a few hours now, sneaking into the homes of his clan members and murdering each of their inhabitants in their sleep. It made the operation run much smoother, however the toll was heavy on her heart. Even if the Uchiha were planning to damage Konoha, they were still her family. Her Sharingan eyes scanned the road in front of her, noticing a guard patrol was on their way to the main house. She was ready to intercept the group when she noticed they were dragging a small child in with them. Itachi's eyes narrowed and rage began to accumulate inside her as she watched the group of Uchiha drag a bound Naruto Uzumaki towards the main house. He looked severely beaten and was caked in blood. As an Anbu, Itachi was mainly tasked with completing A to S-class missions, ranging from information gathering to assassination. However, the Hokage specifically tasked her with another important duty. One that she hadn't thought about since her meeting with the Hokage days prior. The protection of one Uzumaki Naruto. To say the boy was mistreated was an understatement. The villagers literally beat him senseless daily. Being an Anbu, Itachi knew the reason why, but Naruto didn't. Being the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Yoko, the village scorned him. In all actually, he never did anything to necessitate the pain the villagers inflicted on him. He'd always scream at them to stop for he'd done nothing to them. They would never listen and continue to hit or traumatize the child no matter what he said or did. Every year on his birthday, Itachi stayed close by Naruto. She had the pleasure of witnessing some ugly things on his birthday a few years ago. Itachi was brought from her musings as the group passed her. She was close enough to hear Naruto whimpering. It pained her heart to hear such a sound come from an innocent boy. What made her seethe, however, were that the group of Uchiha were headed for her former house. Completely killing her emotion, she stalked the group. The group of Uchiha took Naruto inside the main house, and Itachi snuck in behind them. They walked through the corridors before coming to the council chambers located just inside the main house. They opened the door and tossed Naruto to the floor in front of them before shutting the door behind them. They obviously weren't expecting any espionage to be taking place as they had neglected to put up a silencing seal. That arrogance will be their downfall. Itachi crept up to the door and opened it slightly. She was able to see Naruto lying on the floor, blood pooling around his head as he coughed harshly. One of the Uchiha then kicked him in the stomach again and laughed heartily. Gritting her teeth, her hand went over her shoulder to grasp the hilt of her ninjado, however was deterred once she saw a figure approach Naruto's from the shadows. Itachi narrowed her eyes as she recognized the man now standing before the group. "Here's the boy Fugaku-sama," one of the Uchiha said, bowing to Fugaku, the clan head of the Uchiha. "Excellent work. The Kyuubi brat is instrumental in our plans," Fugaku Uchiha said as he walked a circle around the boy writhing in pain on the floor. What do you mean Kyuubi?" Naruto said as he coughed more blood onto the floor. Itachi gasped as she knew that one of Konoha's most guarded secrets were about to be made public to the only person who really wasn't supposed to know. Fugaku snorted and kneeled down and picked the boy up by his hair. "You, little boy, are the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Yoko, the nine-tailed demon that attacked Konoha the day you were born," Fugaku said with a sadistic smile on his face as the group that brought Naruto here sneered and laughed. Naruto couldn't possibly know what a Jinchuriki was, so she stared on in horror as he realized that it meant he was a demon. His once bright and vibrant blue eyes now turned to a dull shade of blue as all emotion fled the small boy. He looked resigned to his fate, whatever that was, and that scared Itachi. "Don't be sad, child," Fugaku started as he threw the boy to the floor once more. "You will not have to live your life of pain much longer. Men, prepare him for the unsealing." Itachi's eyes went wide with fear. If this meant what she thought it did, then the Uchiha planned on using the Kyuubi as a weapon against Konoha. She made a few hand signs as two copies of herself appeared next to her. They both nodded and went around to the other entrances to the council room. Fugaku had all the men hold down Naruto as he activated his Sharingan. Itachi watched as her father then activated his Mangekyo Sharingan as he went through hand signs. He then moved his hand towards Naruto's stomach at fast speeds. Before he could place the seal on Naruto's stomach, his body slumped over, headless. The men surrounding Naruto went wide-eyed as they watched Fugaku's headless body drop to the floor beside Naruto and then looked next to where he was to see a pair of red Mangekyo Sharingan-fueled eyes staring back at them, filled with rage. The group started shaking as they backpedaled away from Itachi and Naruto. She looked down at Naruto and he looked up at her. She then smiled the sweetest smile she ever smiled, and that smile was filled with many different emotions. The group stared at them in absolute fear, however that proved to be their fatal mistake as the clones Itachi made previously stabbed them through their hearts. They deserved worse for what they'd done, but the situation called for her to be quick. Naruto, unsure of what exactly was happening, looked at Itachi with mixed emotions. He was still weary of her because she just murdered the group that was torturing him, however he was relieved as she exuded an aura of familiarity. She then spoke. "You don't need to worry anymore. You're safe, Naruto-kun," Itachi said as she kneeled down in front of him and pulled him into a hug. Naruto recognized her voice immediately and knew she was his personal Anbu guard Weasel-chan. Naruto then returned the hug and cried into her shoulder. Itachi too had tears forming and was deeply relieved that she was able to save the boy. Naruto then pulled back, shocking Itachi. He looked at the ground in front of him, his tears slowly coming to a stop. Weasel-chan, that man told me I was a Naruto said looking back up at her. A demon. Is it true? Itachi frowned but smiled just as quickly. No, Naruto-kun, you are not a demon, you do however hold the Kyuubi inside you, Itachi said gently watching Naruto shiver. You are its jailer. You keep the village safe by keeping that demon at bay, you're a hero, Naruto-kun. Naruto then looked up at her, surprised to hear that but happy at the same time. "Oh really?" Naruto stammered as he began to smile again. Itachi thought that him smiling suited him more than the downcast look he had moments prior. "Hi, really?" Itachi said as she frowned remembering her mission. I'm sorry Naruto-kun, but I have to leave you soon. Naruto's happy attitude immediately dissipated. Oh. Naruto said as he looked down. Itachi frowned but put her hand on his shoulder. Naruto-kun. Itachi called down to him. Hi. Naruto said looking back up to her. Would you like to be my friend? Itachi said smiling. Naruto went wide-eyed and nodded quickly, tears in his eyes. Yes of course Weasel-chan. Naruto nearly yelled, but Itachi put her hand over his mouth quickly. Shhhhhh, you must quiet down Naruto-kun, Itachi said as she kneeled down again. After I finish up what I am doing here I will take you to the Hokage. He will need to see you about tonight, however you are allowed to talk to no one else, understand Naruto-kun? Hi, Weasel-chan, Naruto said nervously. Itachi gave him a half smile as she stood back up. My real name is Itachi, Naruto-kun. She said laughing quietly. Now then, come with me. Itachi then shunshined Naruto away to her bedroom. Naruto looked around kind of disoriented from traveling at such a high speed. Itachi frowned remembering that he wouldn't be used to that, but sighed knowing it was necessary. You are to stay in this room until I come to fetch you, no matter what you hear, alright Naruto-kun. Itachi said as she looked him dead in the eye, her Mangekyo Sharingan spinning slowly. Ida-chan, I won't leave, Naruto said as he was mesmerized by Itachi's eyes. Beautiful. Itachi watched several emotions pass through Naruto's blue orbs and smirked once again. Nodding she stood up and ruffled Naruto's hair. Be right back, Itachi said as she disappeared in a shunshin. The main Uchiha house was dead silent, as it should be at such a late hour. Sasuke Uchiha however was tossing and turning in his bed. He cringed whilst he slept, obviously having a nightmare. Normally when this occurred, his One-E-sen would come into his room to comfort him. Her presence would always left him at ease and he would drift off back to sleep. This night however was far from normal. Tossing and turning he woke up screaming. He'd had another nightmare. Sitting up in his bed he rubbed his eyes before looking around. He decided to go see if his One-E-sen was home from her mission. As he walked out into the hallway, he got a chill as he heard literally nothing. The house was dead silent. Sasuke then walked off towards his older sister, Itachi's room. The eerie quiet was starting to get to him. As he neared the door to his sister's room, Sasuke heard a blood-curdling scream. Jumping he ran towards the source of the scream and approached the Uchiha clan's council chamber. He slowly approached the door. He cracked it open, barely able to remain calm. His hands were shaking bad as he tried to think of what he could find on the other side of the door. As he peeked inside his heart stopped. Inside the council chamber, there were 5 bodies lying on the floor. If that wasn't a bad enough visual for young Sasuke, what he noticed next made his blood run cold. In the center of the room, he could see his mother kneeling on the floor crying as she held his father's head. He started hyperventilating, his vision blurred with tears falling free. Sasuke was about to rush to his mother when he noticed a pair of glowing red eyes at the other side of the room, deep in the shadows, and they seemed to be looking right at him. That's the SHSH Sharingan, Sasuke screamed in his mind. His eyes then widened to almost impossible proportions as the figure stalked towards the center of the room. Coming up behind Sasuke's mother, Sasuke noticed the assailant was wearing Anbu armor and he nearly fainted. This could only be one person and Sasuke hoped that this was still part of his nightmare. The person walked into the moonlight streaming in through the window and with the grace and finesse only an assassin of the highest caliber could utilize, they ran their ninjato through Sasuke's mother. Sasuke couldn't hold back anymore and he screamed and ran outside the main house, shouting that he needed help, that his mother was injured. As Sasuke neared the exit to the compound he froze as he saw a shadowed figure sitting on a telephone pole by the exit, silhouetted against the moon. Red eyes with 3 commas spinning rapidly, putting the small boy in a trance. Sasuke fell to his knees, puking. Itachi frowned. She hadn't held much love for her clan due to their arrogant ways, however she always held a special place in her heart for her Itato. She leaped down and landed in front of him. Why Itachi, Sasuke cried as he shook violently, staring at his older sister's emotionless face. Itachi really didn't want to kill her Itato. She knew that even pressed, she wouldn't do it. Deciding to take a loss, she purposely failed her mission. Walking closer to Sasuke, Itachi activated her Mangekyo. She reached Sasuke and hauled him to his feet, staring him in the eye. The shuriken-shaped marking in her iris spinning slowly. I simply wanted to test my own abilities. Itachi said emotionless, but cried internally. Sasuke stared at her wide-eyed. You murdered our family to test your ability, Sasuke screamed as rage filled him. He wanted to strike out and attack his older sister, however he was pinned to the spot by her icy stare. Become strong, Sasuke. Itachi said as Sasuke was rooted to the spot. Become strong and one day test your ability against me. Sasuke looked at his older sister like she was the devil herself. I will kill you for this, Itachi. Sasuke gritted out as he tried to exude killer intent towards Itachi. Good, let your hatred of me drive you to become strong. Itachi said, sighing. She needed to get out of here. Her Mangekyo eyes started spinning violently, and Sasuke was captivated by them once again. He felt a deep stirring in his mind before everything went black. Tsukiyomi. Naruto had done as he was told and waited for Itachi in her room. He had heard many strange noises coming from outside, however Itachi had instructed him to stay in the room, and as his first friend, he would not betray her trust. He currently was sitting on her bed swinging his feet back and forth as he was not tall enough to reach the floor just yet. He had turned 7 this year, and being forced from the orphanage several years ago, he was mostly fending for himself. Couple this with the fact that Naruto was mistreated by the villagers, he was left to fetch for himself. This led to him being one may call malnourished, and he had been unable to grow properly because of it. Being a child, Naruto's mind wandered from time to time. He was mature for his age, due to being forced into living a very hard life, however he found that sometimes he should be allowed to act like a normal child. That said, he looked around Itachi's room with childlike wonder. He noticed that there was little to no personal items in the room, anything that was lying out was gender neutral. Frowning at the lack of feeling, his eyes roamed back to the bed where he had sat moments before. Naruto saw a mask laying on the bed. The mask had the likeness of a fox, and it called to the boy. Naruto strode forward and picked up the mask, studying it closely. The mask itself had the face of a fox etched into, accented by red coloring that almost looked like blood. For reasons he couldn't quite understand, he found his confidence to rise whilst he held the mask. He felt like he could do anything he set his mind to. Naruto suddenly dropped the mask back onto the bed when the door to the room was opened. Itachi walked inside smiling sadly as she recounted the evening's events. Unshed tears in her eyes. Naruto looked at her before frowning. He walked up to her and pulled her into a hug, and Itachi's breathing stopped for a second. She smiled and pulled him into the hug and began to cry tears for her actions on this night. She was Naruto's first friend, so he had to do something to help her. If letting her cry on his shoulder and showing her he was there for her helped her, he would do it. The feeling of friendship was new to him, never having experienced this before, however his actions felt right. After what felt like hours to the two of them, they separated. Itachi thanked Naruto and gave him a kiss on his cheek, causing him to blush. I think it's time we got you to the Hokage, Naruto-kun, Itachi said, making sure she had all of her belongings and supplies. Naruto smiled and walked back to the bed, picking up the mask before handing it to her. Itachi looked at the mask sadly, remembering whom it belonged to. Here you go, Ida-chan. Naruto said, smiling broadly. Arigato, and Naruto-kun, Itachi said, smiling at the boy. She then pulled him into a hug and the two shunshined away to the Hokage's office. Hokage's office. Hiruzen Sarutobi sat in his office in deep concentration. Tonight, Itachi Uchiha would slaughter her entire clan and be branded a traitor to the village. This was not the truth, however, she was actually a hero for her sacrifice to the land of fire and the citizens of Konoha. It was unfortunate that she will never be seen that way by the public. As a certain clan that inhabited Konoha would say, the situation was quite troublesome. He was quite worried, if Itachi had been caught or killed, the Uchiha could use that as fuel for the hellfire that would surely incinerate Konoha. Itachi was a prodigy and an S-rank nin. He had faith, but she hasn't arrived to report yet. Just as those thoughts crossed his mind, a whirlwind of leaves brought his attention to the two now standing in his room. At first Sarutobi was confused. Here was Itachi, like he hoped, but with her was Naruto Uzumaki, his adoptive grandson. Pondering the reasons why these two would be here together, he was unable to draw any conclusion. This had stumped the professor. Seeing the Sandame's discomfort, Itachi stepped forward and bowed. Hokage-sama, I've come to give you my report. Itachi said as she straightened up again. Sarutobi motioned for Naruto to leave, but Itachi stopped him, saying this involved him as well, and Sarutobi narrowed his eyes. Speak. The Sandame spat as his brain went into overdrive. As ordered, I have put a stop to the coup by silencing the Uchiha clan. All of the members, sans Mayatado Sasuke Uchiha, have been executed. Naruto-kun is here with me now because my father, Fugaku Uchiha, kidnapped Naruto-kun and attempted to release the Kyuubi from the seal of the Yondaime. In doing so, he also broke the law and told Naruto about the Kyuubi no Yoko. Itachi looked at the ground for a moment. I am deeply sorry that I have failed in my mission to successfully eliminate the entire Uchiha clan, but I just could bring myself to kill Mayatado. Sarutobi was beyond pissed at the Uchiha clan, however he understood Itachi not being able to kill her own brother. They shared a bond that would have made it nearly impossible to shatter. So you know now, huh, kiddo? Sarutobi said, smiling sadly at Naruto, who in turn smiled and nodded his head, which shocked the old man. He had expected Naruto to be angry and hurt that he was lied to. I thought you'd be upset. Hi Jiji, I was upset, Naruto said before he turned to Itachi. Ida-chan here made everything better though. She said that I was a hero for holding back the Kyuubi my entire life. Sarutobi smiled at that. Itachi really is a kind soul, it's a shame that things had to go the way they did. Looking to Itachi he smiled sadly. Well, I hate to break this up, but it's time. Sarutobi said, his tone sad. Time for what, Jiji? Naruto asked, confused. Itachi turned to Naruto and smiled sadly. It's time for me to leave Konoha, Naruto-kun. Itachi sighed. What? Why? Naruto shouted in confusion. You are my only friend, why are you leaving? I have to, Naruto-kun. After tonight, the villagers and other shinobi will not truly understand tonight's happenings and brand me a traitor to the village. Itachi said, ruffling Naruto's hair. I will have to leave to stay alive. But can't we tell everyone that you saved the village? Naruto asked, not completely grasping the situation. Sarutobi sighed, stood, and proceeded to walk over to the two. I'm afraid we can't do that, Naruto-kun. Even though it would be the right thing to do, no one can know of tonight's true activities. Sarutobi said sagely. They're too ignorant to understand. Naruto knew what the villagers' hate could be like, and he most definitely did not want Itachi to experience the same hatred he has. She was his first friend after all. Hi, Jiji. Naruto said, sadly looking down. Itachi walked up and pulled him into a warm embrace. It's alright, Naruto-kun, I understand what this means, and I won't let it get to me too much. Itachi said, smiling sadly at the boy before whispering, and don't you worry, I am sure we will meet again. Naruto looked to Itachi and nodded, a smile returning to his face. Itachi smirked and pulled out the fox mask and looked at it for a moment. Sarutobi saw whose mask it was and frowned. Itachi then handed the mask to Naruto. This mask belonged to someone very important to me. He was like a brother to me, and he was a great man. Itachi stated before smirking. I am sure that one day you will be an even greater man, Naruto-kun. Naruto stared at the mask in his hands, eyes overflowing with determination. He gripped it tightly and nodded. Of course, Ida-chan, I won't let you down. I will become a great ninja. Of that I have no doubts. Naruto currently sat at his desk in class, far away from anyone. He couldn't bring himself to be social with his classmates. It's not like it really mattered much to him anyways. They'd always whisper about him behind his back, stare at him from across the room, or even hit him if he tried to get too close. Naruto resigned himself to sitting away from others and focused on becoming a shinobi. After Itachi had left him, Sarutobi had talked to Naruto for a while. The topics of their discussion ranged from what Naruto has been up to leading to the incident, which pissed him off to no end, to Naruto's plans for the future. The orphanage had tossed Naruto out a few years ago, and Sarutobi had only just that night found out. Naruto assured him it was no big deal, but Sarutobi cried for him. He hadn't known why then, but ever since then he came to an understanding. Naruto had told the Sandaime that he wanted to become a ninja, to protect those precious to him. Sarutobi knew that with Itachi gone he couldn't trust another Anbu to look after Naruto. Itachi had been the best for the position because she understood that Naruto was a hero, and those that shared that belief were few. The only other ones being himself, and he couldn't spend all day watching the boy, no matter how much he wished he could. He then asked Naruto if he'd like to attend the academy. Naruto immediately agreed, and as he was 7 at the time would be just in time to start. He then gave Naruto his own apartment and a monthly allowance, so he could survive on his own. In the years that followed, Naruto had a rough time adjusting to the academy. Being who he was, the senseis did everything they could to deter him from becoming a ninja, believing that if they demon were to learn how to kill they'd be screwed. What they didn't expect, however, was how no matter what they did, Naruto had pushed forward answering their outrageous questions correctly. Naruto would always smile to himself when he proved them wrong, however his joy was always short-lived. The sensei would always accuse him of cheating and mark him down for insubordination. The years went on like this, and at the end of each on Naruto would be dead last. Naruto wasn't too bothered by it. He'd be lying if he said that he expected the academy to accept his talent. After that fateful night years ago his eyes had opened. Being forced into the position he was in by his senseis, Naruto failed last year's Genin exam. Naruto was now in a class filled with clan heirs being taught by one Yumi no Ruka. He always arrived early to the class, to choose a seat far off to the side, as to not be in anyone's way. This year's batch of Genin hopefuls would file in morning after morning, always happy and talking amongst themselves, never paying any mind to the blonde. They would then commence with the lessons, and Naruto answered everything best he could, but was once again pushed to dead last. He wasn't bothered, however. This last year had been interesting to Naruto because Iruka actually taught him things and treated him like a normal student. His other sensei, Mizuki, however, did not treat him like a student and tried his best to stop Iruka from actually teaching the boy, offering to teach him in his stead. Iruka, none the wiser, allowed Mizuki to handle Naruto and his grades. This resulted in Mizuki being the one to handle Naruto's Genin exam today. As everyone filed into the room, they took up their normal seating pattern, which was everyone sit far away from the blonde disturbance. Haruka frowned as he saw this, and Mizuki smirked to himself. Everyone was almost seated, and the last person to enter the room was Sasuke Uchiha. He looked around for a moment before walking over to where Naruto sat and sat down beside him, confusing nearly everyone in the room. There was an uproar originating from one pink-haired banshee screaming something about her love being forced to endure Naruto's presence. Naruto looked at Sasuke before laying his head down on his desk covering his ears. Sasuke simply huffed before doing the same. Haruka frowned but stood at the center of the room calling attention to his students. "Now that we're all here, we can commence your genin exam," Haruka said smiling. "You've all done excellent over the years, and now it is time to see if all your hard work paid off." Mizuki joined him with a small stack of paper and smiled as well. "Right, now then, the first part of your exam is a written test. You have half an hour to finish this test. Good luck," Mizuki said as he started handing out papers. As he reached Naruto, he placed a genjutsu on the exam paper and handed it to him. Naruto smiled at the man and took the test, beginning to work. Half an hour later, the test was concluded and the exam papers were collected. Mizuki removed the genjutsu to reveal Naruto had answered the wrong questions and smirked to himself before handing the papers to Haruka. Haruka sat at his desk looking over the papers, and Mizuki took the students out to the academy training ground for the second part of the exam. This part of the exam required the students to spar one-on-one with Mizuki using only the academy style of Taijutsu. After going through the list of students, Mizuki was barely winded. Naruto was the only student left to take the exam and knew something was wrong. Mizuki looked at him with disdain and seemed to lick his lips when he called Naruto to the field. Naruto arrived and was instantly locked in a vicious Taijutsu battle with Mizuki, who wasn't holding back. A few swift hits to Naruto's ribs and a cracking noise could be heard, and Naruto slumped to the ground. The rest of the class were too absorbed in conversation with each other to notice, and Mizuki smiled. After that, everyone went back inside for the final part of the exam. Naruto was the last to arrive in the room, breathing labored as he slowly began to heal from the brutal shots to his ribsage. He quickly sat down trying to catch his breath, but was immediately called to the front of the class to perform this part of the exam. He was asked to perform a henge, which with the state he was currently in was a poor imitation of Haruka. Haruka frowned before asking him to perform the bunshin. Naruto frowned but did as was asked, and only one weak clone appeared alongside him, lying on the floor passed out. Haruka frowned. "There's always next year, Naruto come," Mizuki said smiling. Naruto bowed his head and left the room. Everyone seemed to not notice him leave, but Sasuke watched him walk out the door, a frown on his face. Naruto had been walking around the village aimlessly ever since he left the academy. Naruto's injuries had healed, however his heart was heavy. He had done his best to pass the exam, twice now, however it seems that it would be impossible for him to pass with how much the sensei there hated him. It frustrated him to no end how people could be so damn ignorant. He was currently walking up the steps to reach the top of the Hokage monument. He always came up here when he was troubled because the place seemed to put him at ease and allowed him to think freely. Naruto sat above the Yondame's head staring out over the village. It was near dark now, the sun was slowly descending over the horizon. "I want to become a strong ninja like Itachi," Naruto thought as he glanced around the village below. His eyes watching the happy people walking to and fro, not a care in the world. He wished he could act that way sometimes, but that was but a dream to him. He would always be a burden. He stood and turned around and glanced at the tree line behind the monument. He noticed Mizuki was sneaking off into the brush behind him with a large scroll on his back. Curiosity getting the better of him, he followed Mizuki into the brush. After walking for a while, Naruto came to a clearing in the trees. He looked around for Mizuki but couldn't see him anywhere. He frowned and decided it would be best if he went back to his apartment, but when he turned around he was met with Mizuki's fist hitting him in the face, throwing the boy back a few feet, sprawled out on the ground. "Why hello there, demon-kun," Mizuki said snickering to himself. Naruto looked up at him in anger. He slowly got to his feet and assumed the academy taijutsu stance. Mizuki started laughing like a madman as he ran forward and engaged Naruto, quickly landing hits on the smaller boy. Naruto was then thrown to the ground and Mizuki got on top of him, brandishing a kunai. "It seems like I will be the one to finally be the one to rid this world of the Kyuubi. You're crazy," Naruto shouted as he struggled beneath the man. Mizuki got a gleam in his eye as he stabbed Naruto in the shoulder. Naruto cried out in pain and continued to struggle. "Yes, that's it, struggle." Mizuki cackled as he twisted the kunai in Naruto. "You stole the forbidden scroll, you will be dealt with." "What are you talking about?" Naruto exclaimed as he looked at Mizuki in horror. Mizuki took the scroll of his back, throwing it to the ground beside Naruto. Just then Haruka arrived and attacked Mizuki. "Mizuki? What do you think you are doing to Naruto?" Haruka yelled as he stood in front of Naruto protectively. Mizuki frowned as he looked at his fellow Chunin. Why did you steal the forbidden scroll? I had planned on fleeing to Orochimaru-sama, but I couldn't pass up the opportunity to kill this demon brat. Mizuki said before he pulled a large shuriken off his back. It seems that you will have to be dealt with as well. Mizuki then quickly launched a large shuriken at Naruto and Iruka down in front of him and hit him in his back. He fell before Naruto smiling sadly, large amounts of blood spewing from his back. I am sorry Naruto, I wasn't able to help more. Iruka then fell to the ground and passed out from blood loss, leaving Naruto covered in Iruka's blood. Mizuki was laughing wildly. Naruto was starting to see red. Iruka was the only teacher he had that treated him normally, and if he died there'd be no way for him to pass the academy and become a ninja. Naruto stood and began walking over to the laughing Mizuki. As he reached him he threw a lot of force behind a single punch and hit Mizuki in the gut, causing the man to stagger backwards somewhat, but he recovered quickly, kicking Naruto in the face, knocking the boy back to the ground. You're so dead. Mizuki said as he began performing hand signs for what Naruto recognized to be a fire jutsu. Just as Mizuki was about to finish the final sign there was a large whirlwind in front of Naruto, and a cloaked figure stood before Mizuki. Mizuki's eyes glanced to the person's face, and his eyes went wide in horror as he cancelled his jutsu, staggering backwards, screaming his head off for someone to help him. Naruto looked to the person in front of him and smiled a little before he heard something that chilled him to the core. Amaterasu. Mizuki's body was immediately engulfed in black flames which seemed to slowly enter his eyes, burning him from the inside out. His screams became garbled as he turned faded to ash before the two's eyes. His ashes floated into the wind, leaving just Naruto and the one person Naruto had been wanting to see for the longest time. A spark of happiness overtook Naruto as he jumped to his feet. Is it really you? Ida-chan? Naruto asked expectantly. The cloaked figure turned to Naruto and removed their hood to reveal a feminine face, surrounded by long black hair, with two Sharingan eyes staring back at him, smiling. Hi, Naruto-kun, it's me. Itachi smiled as she walked to the boy and pulled him into a hug. Naruto felt completely at peace in her arms and was overjoyed to see her after all this time. Itachi then glanced at Iruka and frowned. She broke their embrace and walked over to Iruka, removing the shuriken from his back and placed her hand over the gash. The green light emanated from her hand and the gash slowly began to close. Once it was completely sealed, she stood back up and returned to Naruto's side. Your sensei will be alright, I've stopped the blood from continuing to flow from the cut, however when he wakes he will still be feeling quite weak. Be sure to get him home as soon as he wakes. Hi, arigato, Ida-chan, Naruto said, smiling at his friend. She smiled back and then she sat down on the ground and patted her hand at her side. Naruto, getting the hint, sat down beside her. She asked him about his life since she left the village, and to say she was upset was an understatement. She was furious. No one but the man that lay unconscious a few feet from them had taught the boy or helped him at all. Naruto told her it wasn't that big of a deal and that she shouldn't worry, but she pinned him to the spot with a glare that seemed to say, Naruto, don't play dumb with me. Naruto got that hint as well and sighed, nodding slowly. I can't believe Hokage-sama would allow this to happen. Itachi said as she clenched her fists. Naruto put her hand on her shoulder and she looked over to him. Don't blame Gigi, the council has him running circles. They always find a way to distract him from me, it seems. Naruto said sadly. Itachi looked at the boy, sadness in her eyes. Then her eyes lit up and she smiled. Naruto-kun, I have an idea. Itachi said, standing and walking a few feet away, biting her thumb before performing hand signs. Kuchius no Jutsu. Smoke surrounded Itachi and a harsh wind blew. Naruto struggled to see through the smoke and when it dissipated slightly his eyes bugged out. Standing before him now was a 12-foot-tall raven with glowing red eyes. In one of its talons it held a scroll. Naruto looked at Itachi in awe. Itachi simply smirked. Wow, Ida-chan. Naruto exclaimed. Itachi laughed quietly before changing her expression to one of seriousness. She turned to the raven and it nodded back to her. Releasing its grip on the scroll, it unfurled onto the ground before the group. Naruto-kun, this is the raven summoning contract. With it, I am able to summon ravens as allies on and off the field. Itachi said, picking up a scroll from the ground. Because of the ignorant teachers at your academy, I will take it upon myself to teach you how to be a shinobi. Itachi walked over to Naruto and pulled the boy to his feet and handed him the scroll. I will correct their mistake. Sarutobi currently was staring out over the village from atop the Hokage monument. Hours ago, the forbidden scroll had disappeared from its vault and every single shinobi in the village was on high alert. After he had sent all the ninja to find the scroll, he had pulled out his crystal ball. He decided to look at his surrogate grandson, fearing that because he failed the academy, it would have been him who stole the scroll. What he saw made his skin crawl, and he was going to rush out to retrieve Naruto when the sudden appearance of her stopped him in his tracks. He had stayed and watched the scene play out and left once Itachi killed Mizuki. Before he could rush off to retrieve the scroll in Naruto, Itachi stepped out of the brush and walked over to him quietly. Sarutobi tensed up as the look in her eye made her look vicious. "Hello there," Itachi-san. Sarutobi greeted nervously. "Hello, Hokage-sama," Itachi said as she joined him and staring out over the village. "Is Naruto alright?" Sarutobi asked hesitantly. Itachi glanced at him from the corner of her eye. "Hi, Naruto-kun is fine," Itachi said, and Sarutobi sighed in relief. "However, the damage has been done." Sarutobi looked up at her with wide eyes. "Damage? What damage?" he exclaimed. "Don't tell me you haven't noticed," Itachi said, turning to face him completely. Ever since he was allowed to attend the academy, Naruto has been held back on purpose. He was supposed to fully graduate last year, however every teacher he's had sabotaged him. Sarutobi paled at that. How could he have never noticed? He started smacking himself in the head and growled, spiking his kai. Itachi frowned as this would attract attention to her. She had to speak fast. "I will not stand for this anymore. From now on Naruto-kun will be under my tutelage," Itachi declared as she turned from Sarutobi, who looked at her like she was crazy. "Make him a genin and place him on a team. I will repair the damage that was inflicted." Sarutobi was going to say something, but was stopped when he felt 4 familiar chakra signatures approaching. He sighed in defeat as he watched Itachi disperse in a flock of ravens. "I'm getting too old for this damn job." "Why you will?" Naruto stuttered as he stared at Itachi, a smile on her face. She nodded. "I want you to sign the summoning contract, Naruto-kun," Itachi said as she pointed at the scroll in his hand. "With it, I will be able to contact you whenever concerning your training." Naruto smiled a huge smile and nodded. Itachi smiled and showed him how to sign the contract and then the proper way to use the summoning jutsu. Naruto promised that he would try to summon a raven later and that he was tired from today's activities. "Hi, you've had a long day, Naruto-kun," Itachi said, looking behind her at an unconscious Iruka. "The Hokage and Samanbu are on their way here, Naruto-kun. Be sure to get your teacher into their hands." "Hi, I will make sure he gets to them," Naruto said, glancing at him. "When will I see you again?" "I have some things to take care of over the next few months, however I will send you a raven every so often with your new training regime and updates," Itachi said, smiling at the boy. Naruto walked up to her and hugged her. Itachi's eyes widened. "Thank you, Ida-chan, if it wasn't for you I would have been a goner again," Naruto said as he teared up a bit. Itachi rubbed her hand through his blonde hair. "Don't worry about it, Naruto-kun, I'll always be there for you," Itachi said, and Naruto gazed up into her eyes and laughed a little. However, when he did so, Itachi's eyes hardened. "But don't let that hold you back from becoming the best shinobi you can be. I will not allow you to become arrogant in your training." Naruto nodded quickly, kind of scared but excited at the same time. Itachi smiled again and leaned down, kissing him on the forehead. She leaned back and slowly dispersed in ravens. Naruto stared at her departure in awe. "I am so going to get her to teach me that," Naruto screamed in his mind. Just as he finished gawking at his friend's exit, he heard his name being called from behind him. He turned to see the Hokage, and Samanbu headed his way. "Aheyo, Jiji. Iruka-sensei is injured," Naruto called out, waving them over. The Anbu immediately collected Iruka and Sarutobi picked up the forbidden scroll. He glanced to Naruto and sighed deeply. "Naruto, come with me, we need to talk," Sarutobi said as he and Naruto shunshined back to his office. Upon their arrival, Sarutobi hid the scroll in his desk safe and turned to see Naruto looking around the office nervously. "Naruto, I already know about Itachi helping you." Naruto looked at him in horror. He wasn't going to stop Itachi from helping him, was he? Sarutobi sensed this and smiled. "Do not worry, Naruto. I understand what this means for you, and trust me, even if I wanted to stop it, Itachi wouldn't let me," Sarutobi assured Naruto. Naruto sighed deeply in relief. "That said, Naruto, I would like to congratulate you on becoming a genin of Konoha." Naruto's head whipped up so fast Sarutobi feared the boy had given himself whiplash. "You mean it? I am finally a genin?" Naruto asked, needing assurance. Sarutobi laughed and nodded. Naruto threw his fists up in the air and smiled happily. He was a step closer to his goal. "That said, Naruto, there's something I need to make sure you understand," Sarutobi said, seriously, causing Naruto to snap into the same state. "Itachi is currently seen as an S-ranked criminal and traitor to Konoha." Naruto gritted his teeth as he knew this wasn't completely true information, but didn't say anything as the Hokage continued. "That said, the knowledge of her being your real sensei has to remain between the two of us. If word got out that she was training you, you'd be in even more trouble with the villagers, and we cannot allow that to happen. Understand?" "Of course, Jiji, there's no way I can let that happen," Naruto said, voice full of conviction. Sarutobi smiled at him. "Right, now then, here's your headband and you are to report to the academy tomorrow for team placements." Saratobi said, passing him his headband. Naruto took it and smiled. He looked up and their eyes met. Naruto looked so much like his father it scared Saratobi, but it also made him happy. A smile definitely suited the boy better than a frown. Arigato Jiji. It had been a few months since that fateful night. Naruto had been placed in Team 7 with Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno. He had learned that first day that he wasn't going to enjoy his time with this team as the members ignored him. Ignored him on Sasuke's part and hated him on Sakura's. Their Jounin sensei Kakashi Haddock wasn't much help either. Kakashi spent most of his time teaching Sasuke new jutsu and allowing Sakura to watch. He never really looked at Naruto as a student, more of an inconvenience, which was perfectly okay with Naruto. After Kakashi's Genin test, Naruto made sure to train extra hard with Itachi. With the Raven contract, they could keep in touch by summons. Itachi would give him a schedule for the week of what he should work on and where, as well as teaching him some jutsu that would benefit him. The first jutsu she had taught him was the Kage Bunshin. This way he could train more effectively, which seriously helped in his case, because Kakashi wasn't going to be assisting him much at all. All Team 7 had been doing the last few months had been D-rank missions, which Kakashi had told them was to help build up teamwork. What he should have said, however, was, Naruto would be doing all the work whilst his teammates trained. This seriously pissed off Naruto, however he never went to the Hokage about this. He figured that the more attention he brought to himself, the higher chance there'd be of his secret training being figured out, and he could not allow that. The day, Team 7 was supposed to meet at the missions office to receive their daily mission. Naruto woke up early, like most days, and got ready for the day. He was getting sick of doing nothing but D-rank missions and was hoping that they'd be allowed a C-rank mission soon. As he was on his way to the missions office, Naruto was confronted by several angry villagers. Each tossed stones at him, which didn't hurt anything except for his feelings. Getting really sick of this. Naruto thought as he pushed past the villagers. Ever since he became a ninja, the village was in an uproar. Many demanded to have him executed, while many more wanted him exiled. The Hokage tried his best to stop that from happening and was doing a fine job, however their words and actions still hurt Naruto. Deep down he didn't know if he should defend these people. They would never tolerate him, even if he did save their lives. Naruto pushed those thoughts from his mind as he had arrived at the missions office. Upon entering the office, he was greeted to the side of Team 7 standing in front of the Hokage and Iruka. He made his way over and joined his team, although none of them seemed to notice his presence. Saratobi and Iruka nodded hello to him and confused Sakura, who looked to her right to see Naruto. A scowl immediately took over her face. "You're late, Naruto Baka." Sakura screeched as she went to hit him. Naruto saw her fist coming and ducked out of the way with minimal effort. Sakura had adopted a look of surprise as Saratobi smiled and then coughed, gaining the team's attention. "If you are done fooling around, I would like to assign Team 7 their mission," said Saratobi, giving a stern look to Sakura, who looked down in embarrassment. The Hokage then started thumbing through some scrolls on his desk. "Alright, what would you rather do? Fence painting, dog walking, or?" "Hokage-sama, if I may, I would like to request a C rank for Team 7. Kakashi said, bowing to the old Hokage. Saratobi narrowed his eyes. He had been watching Team 7 intently since its formation, and even during their numerous D-rank missions. He knew that Naruto was forced to do all the work and had little training from Kakashi. Naruto hadn't come to him to stop it yet, so he assumed he had his reasons for not doing so. That said, he couldn't help but feeling put off by Kakashi's request. "Do you think your team is ready, Kakashi?" Saratobi asked, bowing Kakashi. "Hi, Hokage-sama. Team 7 is ready for their first C rank," Kakashi said, proudly looking to Sasuke, who was grinning. Sakura stared at Sasuke in awe. Naruto looked at them with a blank look. Saratobi looked to Naruto and tried to get a feel of what he thought. Naruto saw the look and nodded slowly. Sighing deeply, Saratobi reached over and pulled out a scroll from another pile. He quickly scanned its contents and nodded. "Alright, Team 7, you are to provide escort and bodyguard services for Tazuna, a bridge builder from the Land of Waves. Tazuna-san, please enter," Saratobi said, calling out for Tazuna. A large gray-haired man then entered the room. He had a bottle of sake in his right hand and a towel around his neck. "Tazuna-san, this team shall be your escort back to the Land of Waves, as well as your bodyguards upon your arrival." Tazuna quickly scanned the group in front of him. "The only ones who look like they can even protect me are the blonde kid and that fella with a vest," Tazuna said, angering Sasuke and Sakura. "Watch what you say, old man, I could kill you with a flick of a finger," Sasuke boasted, frightening the old man. Naruto narrowed his eyes and stepped forward. "Sasuke, he is our main priority. I suggest you keep comments like that to yourself," Naruto said, glaring right into Sasuke's eyes. Sasuke huffed and walked towards the exit of the office. Naruto then turned to Tazuna and bowed slightly. "I am deeply sorry for my traumatous actions." Izuna waved it off saying it wasn't a big deal. Naruto nodded and then turned back to face the Hokage. Sarutobi was really proud of Naruto and smiled affectionately at the boy. Now then, Kakashi, Team 7 is cleared to return once Izuna completes building his bridge. Sarutobi informed the Jounin, who nodded. Alright, I'll go find Sasuke and let him know. Sakura, Naruto, meet Izuna-san and I at the gate in an hour. Pack accordingly. Kakashi said, shining away. Sakura then left, quickly leaving Iruka, Sarutobi, and Izuna in the room with Naruto. Naruto, can you come with me to the Hokage Tower? I wish to discuss something with you. Sarutobi asked Naruto, who nodded. Then both of them shined, surprising Iruka and left Izuna with a nervous smile on his face. Where did Naruto learn how to do the shunshin? That's a Jounin level technique. I'll have to ask the Hokage about this later. Iruka thought as he started organizing more scrolls. Hokage office, Hokage Tower. Sarutobi and Naruto both arrived at the Hokage's office within seconds and spent a few moments in silence, getting comfortable in the spacious office. Sarutobi then made a hand signal and several Anbu appeared around Naruto. What is it you need, Hokage-sama? A cat-masked Anbu asked the old Hokage. Privacy, please. Naruto-kun and I need to discuss. The old man sighed as the Anbu saluted and left the room. After they were gone, Sarutobi placed a privacy seal on the room. There, now we don't have to worry about what we say. Now then, Naruto. I would like to know why you haven't reported Kakashi for his mistreatment of you or his favoritism. I'm not all that surprised that you found out, Jiji, Naruto said, sighing deeply. I haven't reported it because other than me doing most of the work on missions, I am able to train in secret with Itachi without having to worry about Kakashi's interference. Smart, but it's still not fair that you are the only one carrying the load, Naruto-kun. Sarutobi said, concerned for his surrogate grandson. Don't worry about me, Jiji, I think about all that extra work as training. Naruto said as he smiled brightly at his surrogate grandfather. You are so much like your father, Naruto-kun, Sarutobi thought sadly. Naruto noticed a sad look across his Jiji's face but didn't ask. Jiji, I have some concerns about my upcoming mission. Naruto told the old man, who perked up hearing this. What concerns? Sarutobi asked, intently interested as to what Naruto was concerned about. It seemed like the client was withholding information. I was wondering if it was classified information, not meant for our ears, or if he purposely keeping the information away from us. Naruto asked, causing Sarutobi to widen his eyes slightly. He had his suspicions, but was surprised to see Naruto come to the same conclusion. Itachi's really rubbing off on you, isn't she, Naruto-kun, Sarutobi thought, laughing lightly. I too believe that the client is withholding information from us. Judging by the current situation in Wave Country, it should be expected that everything is not as it seems. What's going on in Wave Country, Jiji? Naruto asked. Wave is currently being forced under Gato's thumb. Sarutobi said, noticing confusion on Naruto's eyes. Gato is a corrupt businessman currently residing within the land of waves. On the surface, Gato runs a shipping company and founded the Gato Corporation. Underneath that facade, he's a high-class drug dealer and extortionist. Naruto narrowed his eyes, already making connections. So Gato is most likely extorting money from Tasuna's town and has probably hired someone to assassinate Izuna. Naruto thought out loud, making Sarutobi smile. I see Itachi-san has been teaching you to think like her. Sarutobi said, smiling. Yes, of course, she's a wonderful sensei. Naruto nearly shouted. Speaking of your sensei, what has she taught you so far, Naruto? Sarutobi asked, interested. Naruto spent the next few moments explaining his contract with the Ravens, his elemental AFFINITIES wind, lightning, water, and what jutsu he knew. Sarutobi was surprised to find that Naruto had learned quite a bit more than his teammates. The only thing that I really need to work on right now is my taijutsu. Naruto said, frowning. I just can't seem to find a style that suits me. Sarutobi quickly scanned a list in his mind of all the taijutsu styles he knew and couldn't think of one that would work really well for Naruto. Then it hit him. There was one style that would suit Naruto perfectly. Sarutobi reached down and opened a secret compartment on his desk and fished around inside of it for a few moments. Naruto watched the old man fumble around in his desk for a bit before smirking and pulling out a scroll. Sarutobi opened it and read its contents and then rolled it up. Naruto, this is a very special taijutsu style. Sarutobi said, passing the scroll to Naruto. Only one other person has ever been able to use this style before, however I think with the proper training it will be perfect for you. Wow. Thanks, Jiji. Who was the only other person to use it? Naruto asked, really interested in the style. It's called the hummingbird style. And the only other person to use it was the Yondaime Hokage. Sarutobi said, watching Naruto's eyes shoot open in shock. Ah, really? The Yondaime, Naruto shouted. Sarutobi nodded, smiling. Yes Naruto, I will write out a training schedule and instructions to send to your sensei. Sarutobi said, writing in a scroll. Glancing at a wall clock, he saw that he still had some time to talk with Naruto, and if his mission was going to go how he thought it would, he'd need to help Naruto with something. Now Naruto, I have a request. I know how much you like the color orange, but… Gigi, I don't really like the color orange. Naruto said, looking at the old man like he was crazy. Then why did you buy an orange jumpsuit? Sarutobi asked Naruto, narrowing his eyes. That's all I am allowed to purchase from shops that sell clothing. Even then there are better versions of the suit that I can't afford. Naruto said, frowning. Sarutobi gripped the pen in his hand so hard that it snapped. How dare they? Sarutobi grit out. He then released the privacy seal in the room and called for his Anbu. Hokage-sama. The cat-masked Anbu asked as she appeared kneeling next to the Hokage. I need you to go and procure some new clothes for young Naruto here. Do you have any preference, Naruto-kun? Sarutobi said, glancing back to Naruto, who was silent for a moment. I'm really tired of all this orange, a darker color should do. Naruto said, nodding to the cat Anbu. Oh, and would it be possible to get a set of Anbu armor? Well, I don't have any problems with it as long as you don't have one of the masks. You aren't a member of the Anbu, so giving you a mask would be problematic. Sarutobi said, rubbing his chin. Anything else, Naruto-kun? No, that's it, Gigi, Naruto said to the old man. Sarutobi waved his hand and the cat Anbu left in a swirl of leaves. Naruto then asked Sarutobi a little bit about his new Taijutsu style and how it looked. Sarutobi said that the style required the user to be moving very fast and be fluidly in motion the entire time. By the time he had explained a bit what it was like to watch the yondaime use this style, the cat mask Anbu returned with Naruto's new clothes. Naruto went to the restroom and changed. When he emerged, Sarutobi gasped at Naruto's new appearance. Naruto stood before him wearing the standard Anbu Black Ops armor, but over the chest piece, he wore a long coat reminiscent of the yondaime's coat. However, instead of being white, the coat was black. Naruto's headband was also now positioned up on his left arm, causing his hair to fall in his face. He looked almost exactly like the yondaime Hokage. Well, how do I look? Naruto asked Sarutobi. Why, you look great, and Naruto-kun, Sarutobi stammered, slightly shaken. Naruto waved his hand in front of Sarutobi's face. What's wrong, Gigi? You look like you've just seen a ghost. Naruto said, then looked up at the Hokage's wall clock. Oh wow, I am going too late. Talk to you later, Gigi. Naruto then ran from the room to meet up with his teammates. Sarutobi regained his composure and sent the cat Anbu away again. Naruto, I did just see a ghost. Konoha Gate. Team 7 was currently waiting on their last member to arrive. Kakashi was talking to Tazuna. Sakura was hassling Sasuke about a date. Sasuke was brooding, like usual, trying to keep the pink-haired banshee from talking his head off. Where is the useless teammate of ours? Sakura thought out loud as she glanced around at the crowds of people walking by. Do you think he got lost? Sasuke replied, not really listening to Sakura. Naruto was actually standing a few feet away from Sakura, frowning. Guess they didn't realize I had joined the group without my orange jumpsuit. Naruto then cleared his throat and Kakashi turned to look at Naruto. The second Kakashi's eye hit Naruto, he did a double take. Naruto looked like the spitting image of the yondaime. How can that be? Look at you, Naruto. Trying to be all cool. Sakura screeched. Stop trying, please, you'll never be as cool as Sasuke-kun. Naruto sighed and walked to Tazuna. Are you ready to go, Tazuna-san? Naruto asked, receiving a nod from the old man. Naruto looked at Kakashi and nodded, who dumbly nodded back. Let's get going, everyone, and remember, remain alert at all times. Kakashi said as they embarked on their first journey outside of Konoha. Both figures then rushed Kakashi and wrapped chains around his body before tugging on those chains, dismembering Kakashi. Sasuke froze, seeing blood fly everywhere, and Sakura screamed as loud as she could. Naruto's eyes widened and then narrowed. Naruto quickly pulled 2 kunai out of his coat sleeves and took the Academy Taijutsu stance. The two figures then turned to face the group of genin. They looked at Sakura and Sasuke, frozen in fear, and then glanced to Naruto. They smirked, noticing his basic stance, and then locked eyes with the old man of the group. Naruto watched their gaze glide to Tazuna's, and he stepped in front of him. If you want to get to him, you have to go through me. Naruto said coldly. The two ninja glanced at each other before chuckling. That didn't last long, however, as they rocketed forward, claws aimed for the bridge builder, not even concerned with Naruto. Naruto saw this and jumped up in the air, landing on their shoulders. He then stuck one of his kunai in the chain, pushing his weight forward, dragging both of the enemy ninja back with him. The kunai dug into the ground, keeping the two rooted to the spot. Naruto saw their eyes widen as he engaged one in Taijutsu. Shit, I really need to learn that new Taijutsu style. Naruto said and cursed as the other ninja entered the fight. Barely holding his own, Naruto fought against the two older, more experienced shinobi. One of the ninja lashed out with their claw and missed Naruto barely, but it gave him a chance to strike back. With his other kunai, Naruto stabbed the ninja in the throat. The world seemed to slow down as Naruto watched the man choke on his own blood. The other ninja watched as his brother died and became enraged. Striking at Naruto quickly. Naruto was still getting over what he just did and got struck in the stomach. Blood flew from his mouth as he stumbled backwards, knocking into Sasuke. Sasuke was broken from his trance and looked at the dead ninja on the ground and then at Naruto. Frowning, he pushed Naruto to the side and started forming hand signs. Thanks for watching this video. If you really enjoy this video, like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification. Don't forget to support and follow Warrenbeck for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story link in the description. See you in the next video. Goodbye.